Admiral James Cooper stood at the observation window of the International Space Station, his weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass. For 30 years, he had dreamed of seeing humanity reach the stars. Now, he watched helplessly as those same stars brought destruction to his home. The first signs came without warning. Massive ships appeared at the edge of Earth's atmosphere, their dark hulls blocking out the sunlight like artificial clouds. They were beautiful in a terrifying way, stretching nearly 10 miles from end to end. The ship's design showed no signs of engines or weapons, just smooth, curved surfaces that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Sir, we're receiving signals from all major space agencies," Lieutenant David Miller reported, his voice shaking. "They're trying to establish contact with the vessels." Cooper knew it wouldn't work. The way these ships positioned themselves, it wasn't the approach of peaceful visitors. He had spent too many years in the military not to recognize a battle formation. The first blast hit New York. A beam of light, bright enough to turn night into day, struck the city center. In seconds, decades of human achievement turned to ash. The International Space Station's sensors overloaded from the energy readings. "My God," whispered Miller, pressing his hands against the window. "They're targeting every major city." Cooper grabbed the station's internal communication system. "All personnel, begin emergency protocols. Download all data to secure servers and prepare for emergency transmission." More beams struck Earth's surface. London disappeared in a flash of light. Then Beijing, Moscow, Delhi. The oceans boiled where stray shots hit the water, creating massive clouds of steam that rose into the upper atmosphere. Through it all, Cooper noticed something strange. The alien ship's weapons had a distinct pattern. They needed exactly 47 seconds to recharge between shots. Their shield frequencies also fluctuated during each firing sequence, showing brief moments of weakness. "Miller, are you seeing this?" Cooper pointed to the sensor readings. "There's a pattern to their attack. The energy signature of their shields drops by 60% just before they fire." The young lieutenant wiped tears from his eyes and focused on the data. "You're right, sir. But what good does that do us now?" Cooper started typing frantically on his console. "Humanity isn't finished yet, son. We just need to survive and adapt." He compressed all their sensor data and observations into a tight data packet, adding his personal notes about the shield vulnerabilities. The station shook violently. Warning lights flashed as debris from destroyed satellites filled Earth's orbit. Through the chaos, Cooper activated the station's deep space transmission array, a project that had been classified until now. "This is Admiral James Cooper of Earth." He spoke into the recorder, to any human survivors. "The aliens' weapons and shields have critical weaknesses, full data attached. They think they're destroying us, but they're also teaching us how to fight back. Remember, 47 seconds between shots. Shield frequency drops before firing. This is the key to our survival." He pressed send just as the station's main power failed. The message shot out on a special frequency, directed at hidden receivers in underground bases across Earth, bases whose existence even Cooper wasn't officially supposed to know about. Miller looked at his commander. "Will anyone even survive to receive that message?" Cooper smiled grimly. "Lieutenant, there's something you should know about humans. We're really good at surviving, and even better at hitting back when someone tries to eliminate us." The station's emergency lights cast red shadows across the observation deck as they watched the systematic destruction of human civilization. But unlike their attackers, they knew this wasn't the end of humanity's story. It was just the beginning of a new chapter, one that would make the aliens regret ever targeting Earth. As the last transmission confirmed its receipt, Cooper turned to his crew. "Now we wait, we watch, and we gather every bit of intelligence we can. Those bastards think they're wiping us out, but they're actually giving us the blueprint for their destruction." The space station continued its orbit around a burning Earth, its crew documenting everything they saw. In the coming months, This information would become the foundation of humanity's greatest comeback. But for now, they could only watch as their world burned, knowing that somewhere deep underground, survivors were already planning their revenge. 6 months after the devastating attack, Dr. Emily Richards stared at the alien weapon fragment under her microscope. The underground lab, carved deep into the Rocky Mountains, hummed with the sound of recycled air and power generators. Her tired eyes had dark circles from countless sleepless nights, but she couldn't stop now. Not when she was this close. "Commander Wilson, you need to see this," she called out, her voice echoing in the concrete chamber. Robert Wilson, former Marine commander turned resistance leader, walked over to her workstation. His once pristine military uniform had been replaced by practical civilian clothes, but he still carried himself with the same authority. "Tell me you found something good, Doc," he said, leaning over her shoulder to look at the complex data on her screen. Emily pointed to the strange patterns in the alien metal. "Their weapons aren't just advanced, they're flawed. Remember Admiral Cooper's last transmission about the 47-second delay? It's because their power crystals can't handle continuous fire. They literally have to cool down." Wilson's eyes lit up with interest. "Can we use that?" "Better." Emily pulled up another screen showing wavelength patterns. "Their shields are tuned to stop their own weapon types. They never expected to fight anything else. It's like they're wearing armor designed only to stop specific bullets." In another part of the facility, technicians worked on reverse engineering the alien technology. The Resistance had managed to salvage pieces from crashed ships and damaged weapons. Each discovery brought them closer to fighting back. "Mark," Emily called to her assistant, "show the commander what we did to that alien rifle." Mark grabbed a modified alien weapon from the testing area. It looked like a mix of human and alien technology, crude but functional. "We rewired it to fire at different frequencies. Their shields can't stop it." Wilson picked up the weapon, testing its weight. "How many can we make?" "With the materials we have." "Maybe 100, Emily answered. "But that's not the best part." She pressed a button on her computer, bringing up Admiral Cooper's complete data package. The space station's scans showed us exactly where to hit their ships. We just needed to understand the data. The Resistance base housed 5,000 survivors, all carefully chosen for their skills. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, everyone had a role. They worked in shifts, maintaining radio silence to avoid detection. The aliens thought they had crushed humanity. That mistake would cost them dearly. Wilson gathered his top officers in the command center. Maps and diagrams covered the walls, showing alien patrol routes and weaknesses. "Listen up," he announced. "Dr. Richards and her team have given us a chance. Now we need to make it count." He pointed to a map showing a nearby alien mining operation. "They think we're finished, so they're getting careless. Their patrols are predictable. Their guards are relaxed. And now, thanks to our scientists, we can hurt them." Emily stood up, addressing the room. "The modified weapons are ready for field testing. We've also developed jammers that can disrupt their communications. They rely too heavily on their technology. Technology we now understand." "What about the rest of the world?" someone asked. "Are we the only ones left?" Wilson smiled for the first time in months. Before the attack, Earth had dozens of facilities like this one. Admiral Cooper's message reached all of them. Right now, resistance groups worldwide are making the same discoveries we are. When we strike, we won't be alone. The meeting continued late into the night as they planned their first major operation. They would start small, hitting isolated patrols, testing their new weapons, gathering more alien tech to study. Each successful mission would make them stronger. In her lab, Emily looked at a photo of her family, all lost in the initial attack. "We're coming for them," she whispered, touching the picture. "And they won't see us coming." The Resistance worked through the night, preparing for the battles ahead. In labs and training rooms across the facility, humans learned to fight in new ways. They studied alien technology, adapted their tactics, and got ready for revenge. The aliens had made a crucial mistake. They thought destroying Earth's cities meant destroying humanity. They didn't understand that humans were at their most dangerous when fighting for survival. Deep underground, humanity wasn't just surviving. It was evolving, adapting, and preparing to strike back. Captain Michael Stone stood in the massive underground hangar of Earth's secret lunar base, watching as engineers put the final touches on humanity's newest warship. The vessel looked nothing like traditional spaceships. Its dark hull was angular and irregular, designed to absorb or deflect enemy scans. This was the 10th ship completed in the past month, each one better than the last. Beautiful, isn't she? Chief Engineer Tom Baker walked up beside him, wiping grease from his hands. We're calling her the Revenge. Fitting name, if you ask me. The lunar base, hidden beneath the moon's surface, had been humanity's best-kept secret. Built over decades under the cover of routine mining operations, it now served as the birthplace of Earth's new fleet. How many ships can we finish before they notice something's wrong? Stone asked, watching crews load weapons into the ship's bays. Baker consulted his tablet. We have materials for 15 more. The alien mining operation on Mars is getting suspicious about why they're finding less metals in their automated shipments, but they're too arrogant to investigate properly. Stone smiled. The aliens' overconfidence was becoming their greatest weapon. And the new drives. Working perfectly. We combined their captured technology with our theoretical designs. These ships can move faster and hit harder than anything they have. Dr. Richard's weapons modifications are integrated into all systems. They walked through the hangar, passing hundreds of workers. Everyone here had lost someone in the attack. That loss drove them to work harder, to build better, to prepare more thoroughly. The base housed 10,000 people, engineers, pilots, soldiers, and support staff, all training day and night. Captain, a young officer ran up to them. We're receiving a transmission from Commander Wilson's resistance group. They've successfully tested the modified weapons against alien shields. Everything works exactly as predicted. Stone nodded. Time to move to the next phase. Get me a secure line to all ship captains. In the command center, Stone addressed the gathered fleet commanders through encrypted channels. Screens showed similar rooms in other hidden bases around the moon, where more ships were being built. Ladies and gentlemen, he began. 6 months ago, these bastards thought they destroyed us. They bombed our cities, killed our families, and left us for dead. But they didn't finish the job. He brought up tactical displays showing the alien positions around Earth and Mars. Their patrol patterns haven't changed in months. They're lazy, complacent. They think we're still hiding in caves, barely surviving. They have no idea we're up here. The tactical officer, Lieutenant Jane Parker, stepped forward. Our first target will be their mining operation on Mars. It's their main supply line for ship construction. Taking it out will cripple their ability to build reinforcements. Stone pointed to the fleet diagram. Thanks to Chief Baker and his teams, every ship in our fleet carries weapons they can't block, shields they can't penetrate, and stealth systems they can't detect. We're not just going to survive. We're going to make them regret ever finding Earth. The briefing continued as they discussed attack formations and contingency plans. Every detail had to be perfect. They wouldn't get a second chance at surprising the enemy. Back in the hangar, Stone watched the final systems check on the Revenge. The ship's dark hull seemed to swallow the light, its weapon ports barely visible against the stealth coating. They had named it well. This ship, and all the others like it, would carry humanity's vengeance to the stars. All ships report ready, Captain, Baker announced, pride evident in his voice. We can launch whenever you give the word. Stone touched the cold metal of the ship's hull. Send word to all resistance cells on Earth. Tell them to prepare for Phase 2. When we hit the Mars facility, I want simultaneous attacks on every alien outpost on Earth. Show these bastards that humanity isn't just surviving. We're hunting them now. The lunar base hummed with activity as final preparations were made. In hangars across the moon's dark side, crews boarded their ships. Engineers ran final checks. Weapons were armed. The fleet that would change the galaxy was ready. Humanity had taken the aliens' greatest mistake, their arrogance, and turned it into an opportunity. Now, hidden in the shadow of Earth's moon, they prepared to teach their enemies a lesson about underestimating the human spirit. Lieutenant Anna Torres watched Mars grow larger in her view screen as the fleet approached. 20 ships moved in perfect silence, their stealth systems making them invisible to alien sensors. The red planet's surface was dotted with alien mining facilities. Their first target. All ships maintained formation. Captain Stone's voice came through the secure channel. Remember your training. They don't know we're here, and they don't know what we can do. The Revenge led the fleet, its dark hull blending with space. Behind it, other ships spread out in attack formation. Each one carried weapons modified with Dr. Richard's discoveries, ready to punch through alien shields. Enemy base in range. Torres reported from her command post. 12 ships in dock, minimal security patrols. They're not expecting anything. Stone's voice was calm but firm. All ships, prepare to fire on my mark. Ground teams, stand by for insertion. Remember, we need their command center intact. That's where the defense network data is stored. Torres checked her tactical display. Her team would lead the ground assault while the fleet engaged the ships. They had practiced this hundreds of times in simulators. But this was real. Everything depended on their success. 3 minutes to optimal range, the navigation officer announced. The alien mining base was huge, covering nearly 50 square miles of Martian surface. Automated machines dug deep into the planet's crust, extracting metals for the enemy's war machine. Soon, those same resources would help build Earth's new fleet instead. All ships, fire. 20 beams of modified energy struck the unprepared alien base simultaneously. Their shields, calibrated to stop traditional weapons, might as well have been paper. The first volley destroyed their communication array and defense turrets. Direct hits. Torres called out. Their shields are down. The alien ships scrambled to respond, but they were too slow. Earth's fleet, smaller but far more maneuverable, danced between their clumsy counterattacks. The modified weapons tore through their hulls like they weren't even there. Ground team, you're up, Stone ordered. Torres led her assault team from the landing bay. Their ships provided cover fire as the transport pods streaked toward the base's main entrance. They wore powered armor reverse-engineered from salvaged alien tech, enhanced with human innovations. Remember, she told her team, we need prisoners and data. No unnecessary destruction. They breached the base's outer doors using shaped charges. Inside, alien workers ran in panic. They had never expected to face actual combat. The few security forces present put up weak resistance. Main control room, dead ahead, Torres reported, checking her helmet display. Heavy doors, but nothing our new toys can't handle. Her team planted breaching charges on the control room doors. The explosion sent them flying inward, and humans poured through the smoke. The alien commanders inside stared in shock. They had thought humanity was extinct. Base is secured, Torres announced 20 minutes later, downloading their defense network data now. You're not going to believe what we found, Captain. Stone's voice crackled through the comm. Good work. What did you find? Complete access codes to their entire Mars defense grid. They never changed them, never thought they'd need to. And that's not all. We got locations of every major base in the solar system. The battle was over in less than an hour. Earth's first strike had been a complete success. 19 alien ships destroyed, one captured mostly intact for study. The mining facility was secured with minimal damage, ready to be converted for human use. Torres walked through the captured base, watching her troops secure alien prisoners and technology. The enemy's faces showed a mix of fear and disbelief. They had thought humans were primitive, easy to crush. Now they were learning the truth. Captain, She reported, "My teams are starting base conversion. We'll have this facility producing ships for Earth within a month." In orbit around Mars, the fleet regrouped. Not a single human ship had been lost. The aliens' mighty weapons had proved useless against human ingenuity and determination. Stone's voice addressed all crews. "Well done, everyone. Send word to Earth. Operation Payback is a success. Tell them to begin Phase 2. It's time to show these aliens what happens when you push humanity too far." The red planet's dust storms swirled around the captured base as humans began transforming it for their own use. This was just the beginning, the first strike in humanity's campaign to take back their solar system. And the aliens were finally learning to be afraid. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council erupted in chaos. Hundreds of alien representatives shouted and argued as news of the Mars attack played on the massive screens. High Chancellor Marcus, one of the few council members who had opposed Earth's destruction, watched the footage with grim satisfaction. "Order. We will have order." Marcus's voice boomed through the chamber. His tall, silver-skinned form rose from the central podium. "The humans have not only survived, but have turned our own weapons against us. This is the very outcome I warned about 6 months ago." General Dax of the Stellar Empire stomped forward, his heavy armor clanking. "Impossible. We destroyed their cities, their armies, their space forces. They were primitive savages." Marcus played the battle footage again. The human ships moved with deadly grace, their modified weapons cutting through the Empire's best shields like they weren't even there. The Mars base had fallen in less than an hour. "Primitive savages?" Marcus asked quietly. "Those savages just captured your largest mining facility without losing a single ship. They now control your defense codes and have access to your supply lines." The council chamber fell silent. On the screens, human soldiers in advanced armor systematically took control of the Mars base. Their efficiency was terrifying to watch. "We must strike back immediately," General Dax roared. "Send the main fleet. Crush them completely this time." An older council member named Voss stepped forward. "And risk losing more ships to their new weapons. They've already proven they can defeat our best technology. We should negotiate while we still can." Marcus nodded in agreement. The humans have shown remarkable restraint. They took prisoners instead of killing everyone. They disabled ships rather than destroying them when possible. They are willing to talk. Restraint. Dax laughed bitterly. "They're preparing for war. Our deep space scanners show they've built bases on their moon. They're constructing more ships as we speak." The council murmured nervously. Everyone had seen how quickly humans adapted alien technology. If they had hidden moon bases, what else were they hiding? A message flashed on the main screen. A transmission from Earth. The council fell silent as Captain Michael Stone's face appeared. "Greetings, Galactic Council. I speak for the United Earth Defense Force. 6 months ago, the Stellar Empire attacked us without warning or provocation. They thought they could wipe us out. They were wrong." Stone's calm voice filled the chamber. "We now control Mars and its resources. We have your defense codes, your shield frequencies, and detailed maps of your territory. We could continue this war, but we prefer peace. Peace based on mutual respect and recognition of our right to exist." Marcus watched the council's reactions. The younger races looked frightened. The older ones seemed thoughtful. The Stellar Empire representatives were furious. "You have 24 hours to open diplomatic channels," Stone continued. "If you refuse, or if anyone attempts another attack on Earth, we will demonstrate exactly how much of your military technology we've improved upon. The choice is yours." The transmission ended. The council exploded into argument again. "We cannot bow to primitive threats," Dax shouted. Marcus raised his hand for silence. "They're not primitive. That's exactly the kind of thinking that created this situation. They survived our worst attack and came back stronger. Now they're offering us a chance to avoid unnecessary bloodshed." "The humans are correct," Voss added. This war was a mistake from the beginning. They've proven themselves worthy of joining the galactic community, not through conquest, but through their ability to survive and adapt. The debate raged for hours. Marcus watched the council members slowly realize the truth. Humanity wasn't just fighting back, they were rewriting the rules of warfare. Every piece of technology the Empire had used against them was now being turned into something new and more powerful. In the end, the vote wasn't even close. The council would open diplomatic channels. The alternative, facing an army of humans armed with improved versions of alien technology, was too frightening to consider. As the council session ended, Marcus prepared a response to Earth. But he knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Thomas Ward stood on the bridge of the flagship Guardian, watching the tactical display as hundreds of human ships moved into position. After the Stellar Empire rejected peace talks, humanity had decided to show them exactly what they were dealing with. All fleet commanders report ready, his communications officer announced. Ground teams are in position. We're waiting for your command, sir. Ward nodded, his gray hair reflecting the blue light from the tactical screens. In the 6 weeks since the Mars victory, they had built and launched more ships than anyone thought possible. But their greatest advantage wasn't the number of ships, it was how they used them. Begin Operation Thunderstrike, Ward ordered. All units, execute as planned. Across 3 star systems, human forces launched simultaneous attacks on Stellar Empire strongholds. But these weren't normal warships. Earth had converted cargo ships, mining vessels, and even passenger liners into deadly weapons platforms. Sir, Task Force Alpha has breached the defenses at Colony 7, reported Captain Rodriguez from the tactical station. The enemy didn't even scan our supply ships until it was too late. Ward smiled grimly. The Empire's arrogance was their weakness. They never expected delivery ships to carry advanced weapons. They never thought maintenance crews would be trained commandos. Every civilian vessel in their space was potentially a human warship in disguise. Task Force Beta reports success at the shipyards. Another officer called out. Our mining ships drilled right through their outer defenses. Engineers are capturing their construction facilities now. The tactical display showed green lights across all operations. The Empire's rigid military doctrine had no answer for human creativity. They expected attacks from warships, not from converted civilian vessels that their scanners ignored. Sir, enemy fleet approaching from Sector 4, Rodriguez announced. Right on schedule, Ward said calmly. Spring the trap. What looked like a retreating group of human ships suddenly turned and split apart. Hidden weapon ports opened on their hulls. The Empire fleet, charging in to attack what they thought were fleeing transport ships, found themselves surrounded by heavily armed vessels. They're using the old formations, Ward noted, just like we predicted. Their training hasn't changed in 1,000 years. Lieutenant, show them why that's a problem. The human ships moved in patterns the Empire had never seen before. Instead of meeting force with force, they danced through the enemy formation, breaking it apart. Ships that looked damaged weren't damaged at all. It was a trick to lure enemy vessels into ambush positions. Colony 7 is secure, Rodriguez reported. Shipyards captured intact. Mining facilities under our control. Sir, we're actually doing it. We're beating them at their own game. Ward watched as more reports flooded in. Humans weren't just winning. They were changing how space warfare worked. The Empire's mighty dreadnoughts were being outsmarted by converted cargo ships. Their best troops were being outmaneuvered by engineers and dock workers turned soldiers. Message from Ground Team Leader Torres, the comm officer announced. They've secured the main command center on Colony 7. She says, and I quote, "These guys really need to update their security codes more often." The bridge crew laughed. The Empire's overconfidence had left them vulnerable. They kept using the same codes, the same tactics, the same strategies, while humans adapted and evolved with every battle. Sir, The enemy fleet is retreating from all sectors, Rodriguez reported. They're abandoning their positions faster than we can capture them. Ward nodded. Send word to all commands. Secure your objectives, but don't pursue. We're not here for revenge. We're here to show them they can't push us around anymore. The battle lasted less than 6 hours. When it was over, humanity had captured 3 major colonies, 2 shipyard complexes, and dozens of support facilities. The mighty Stellar Empire fleet was in retreat, their rigid military doctrine shattered by human innovation. Send a message to Earth, Ward ordered. Operation Thunderstrike successful. All primary and secondary objectives achieved. Minimal casualties on either side. He paused, then added, also tell them the Empire now knows what happens when you underestimate humanity. As the Guardian's crew began securing their victories, Ward looked at the tactical display one last time. Humanity hadn't just proved they could fight back. They had changed the rules of warfare forever. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what they had planned. Commander Lisa Bennett stood in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council, her dress uniform crisp and perfect. The massive chamber, once a place where Earth's fate had been decided without human input, now held representatives from every spacefaring race, including, for the first time, humanity. The terms are non-negotiable, she said, her voice carrying across the silent chamber. Earth demands equal representation on the Council. No more first-tier and second-tier species. No more primitive classifications. Every race gets an equal voice. High Chancellor Marcus nodded in agreement. After humanity's stunning victory over the Stellar Empire, no one dared call them primitive anymore. The Empire's representatives sat quietly in their section, their once proud demeanor replaced by careful restraint. Furthermore, Bennett continued, any unprovoked attack on a developing world will be considered an act of war against all Council members. We're here to leave the younger races, not destroy them. Dr. Emily Richards, now Earth's chief scientific advisor, displayed holographic data showing the improvements humans had made to alien technology. We're willing to share our innovations with all Council races. In return, we expect full access to the Galactic database and trade networks. The Council members murmured among themselves. Human innovations had revolutionized everything from shield technology to faster-than-light travel. Their ability to take existing tech and improve it was unprecedented. What about the Empire's territories? General Dax demanded, speaking for the first time since the defeat. You've occupied our major shipyards and colonies. Admiral Ward, standing beside Bennett, stepped forward. Those facilities will be returned to Empire control once the new treaty is ratified. But the defense codes will be changed, and monitoring stations will be installed. No more surprise attacks on anyone. The voting process took hours. Every race had questions, concerns, and requests. But in the end, the outcome was clear. Earth's proposals passed with overwhelming support. The galaxy was entering a new era. There's one more thing, Bennett announced after the vote. We're establishing a rapid response force drawn from all Council races. If anyone tries what the Empire did to us, they'll face a united galaxy in response. As the Council session ended, Bennett walked through the grand corridors with her team. Captain Stone, Lieutenant Torres, and Commander Wilson had all come to witness this historic moment. They had all played their parts in humanity's journey from victims to leaders. Hard to believe it's only been a year, Torres said, looking out at the alien city through massive windows. From nearly extinct to changing how the galaxy works. Stone nodded. We didn't just survive their attack. We learned from it. Every weapon they used against us became a lesson. Every technology they thought would destroy us made us stronger. In orbit above the Council world, Earth's fleet floated alongside ships from other races. But now they weren't preparing for war. Engineers from a dozen species worked together, sharing ideas and innovations. Humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't their improved technology. It was their ability to think differently. The latest reports from Earth are promising, Wilson added. The reconstruction is ahead of schedule. Having access to alien technology and resources helps, but it's really the human spirit that's rebuilding our world. Bennett smiled as she watched alien children playing with human kids in a nearby garden. This was what they had fought for, not just survival, but the chance to build something better. You know what the Empire's biggest mistake was? She asked her companions. They thought destroying our cities would destroy our spirit. They didn't understand that humans are at their most dangerous when everything is taken from them. The team gathered at their ship for the return journey to Earth. The new Galactic Charter had been signed. The monitoring stations were being built. Most importantly, the galaxy had learned a crucial lesson. Never underestimate humanity's ability to adapt and overcome. Message from Earth Command. The ship's AI announced as they prepared for departure. They're ready to begin Phase 1 of the Galactic Cooperation Initiative. Several races have already volunteered their best scientists and engineers. As their ship broke orbit, Bennett looked back at the Council world. The galaxy had tried to destroy humanity, but instead, humans had changed the galaxy. Not through conquest or dominance, but through innovation, adaptation, and an unwavering determination to build a better future. The stars stretched out before them as they headed home. Earth wasn't just surviving anymore. It was leading the way to a new age of galactic cooperation. And this time, no one would dare to call humans primitive ever again.